Apologies if you're waiting in the other room. We're working out the live streams here, but we're going to open up some 1982 tops of Vending box, which I've never opened before. We opened a whole bunch of 1982 tops wax. I have to say, overall, I was unimpressed with the quality of the cards that we got out of the wax packs. We can talk about that. I feel like there's too many resealed wax or searched wax. So we've got a baseball card exchange verified box here that says it's from a sealed case. So we're hoping to have better quality cards here. A vending box is 500 cards and there's no gum, so I think that's a positive. And I've got here my chase cards for 1982 tops, so we know what we're looking for. And if you want to buy your own version of these, I did it for all of the 1980s tops cards and then also for 1970s. It's less than $1 a year. You'll see that below the video stream here. So let's dig in. I almost didn't want to open these because the wax pack was so bad though. I'm actually curious to see if I feel like the quality of the cards we get in here is better than the wax. So we will find out for sure. I have to say this is some serious shrink wrapping. It feels thicker than I expected. And it is tighter than I expected. So opening 1982 Topps Vending box. Never opened one of these before. Oh my goodness. I hope you can see this. They look pretty good overall. I don't even know how to properly get these out, so I feel like there's an edge that's just going to be destroyed no matter what I do. And I want to get some cards out of here. Man. Am I going to be that guy that destroys the vending box? I think so. Let's see. Okay. All right. We are off to some sort of a start here. We've got Paul Splitorf. And I will say, in addition to chase cards that I've got here, if you see any without the signature, they're called blacklist. That's an error. So we'll be looking for these. But Paul Splitorf is off center and got a solid print defect right here. So we'll see. Dan Schatzeder, I don't know that one. I will say that the black signatures here look stronger than I'm used to. Mike Kruko, centering's getting a little bit better, but you can see off. And here's Jeff Jones. So I opened a whole bunch of wax. I felt like I didn't get any good hits through those, so I'm hoping to do better here. Online, people are mixed on the vending boxes. I think 500 cards in one go with no gum is a pretty good deal. Some think that the Topps took the cards that weren't as good and put them in vending boxes. So we'll see. I do like a Frank White in action. I'm going to put this in a pile. And Rod Carew, number 501. I'm sure this is going to be on our list here, so I'm going to do a quick lookup. Rod Carew. Oh, I just have his base card, not his in-action card. So while I'll put that in a good pile, that is probably not going to be worthwhile. Here's Joe Niekro, off center with some print staining there, but number 611. It's also not on my list. All right, Joe Niekro. Mario Soto. I will say I already like the mix of cards I'm seeing. They're different than I've opened a lot of wax, and we didn't get to see a bunch of these. And here's Pascual Perez with all sorts of problems going on here. Look at that autograph. So when Topps signed players to exclusive contracts with their baseball cards, they took the facsimile of those signatures and put them on their cards. So that is how he signed his contract. And I'm going to attempt to do my best not to wreck these. Ron Say, okay, in action. I have to say I'm happy with the mix of cards in here right now. Ron Say in action 411 We'll do a quick check here. Nope, just a regular card. Tony Perez. I actually think the in-action cards, as cool as they are, were not very valuable compared to the regular cards. I'll do a quick check on Tony Perez, 256. Yeah, Tony Perez base is in here, but not his in-action. So Jim Sundberg, Rodney Scott. Welcome, you're joining a 1982 Topps vending box opening, my first ever vending box. I was really not happy with the wax packs I opened. I think some were probably resealed. I'll do a whole video about that coming up next. We've got the batting leaders for the Detroit Tigers, batting and pitching. Rafael Landstoy. This one is off center by a bunch. Hopefully it gets better. Chuck Baker. Oh, Chuck Baker. He's better centered, but not top to bottom, so I do think it's going to be a random shot at these. Grant Jackson. Len Barker from the Indians. Steve Henderson. Man, we're going to have a lot of cards to go through. Joe Morgan, second base. 754. I'm going to do a quick look up. As I mentioned, I have my own chase card list here. I'll put up the... these are the big hitters here, but I have the full list of the top 20 cards. 754 in case I want to send any off for grading. 754, not on my list. Wait. Oh, that's funny. So Joe Morgan in action made it, but not this Joe Morgan. This is a pretty good looking card, I have to say, though. I'm going to put it over here in the check out later pile. Bill Russell. If you guys see any lack of signatures, let me know. Dick Hidrow. Here's Gary Templeton. Bob Stanley. Awesome. I grew up a Sox fan. There we go. Here's Goose Gossage. All-Star. I'm going to put that in the check out later pile. Daryl Jackson. Brian Asseltine. And Juan Beniquez. Yeah. All right, no big hits here. From all the wax we opened, I did get a Ozzie Smith. I got a Kirk Gibson. I got a Jim Cat. I even got the Reggie, which come back Thursday, you're going to see what Reggie graded. But I never got the 82 Topps Cal Ripken, so that's really going to be the big hit we're looking for here. Chris Spire. Bert Hooton. Seattle Future Stars, Dave Henderson. Okay. Number 711. I'll do a quick peek here. 711 Future Stars. So a PSA 9 of this would be $25. Just looking at the centering, that is not going to make the PSA 9 cut. I won't pay for that, but maybe I'll sell that just on its own. Rick Miller, anyone in the Red Sox uniform is great. Here's Ken Griffey Sr. Whoops. Ken Griffey Sr. Let's take a look. Number 620. So the fun fact for Topps, if your number ended in a 0, like card number 10 or card number 620, they reserve those for who they thought were the best players at the time. Ken Griffey did not get my list. Raleigh Fingers in action. Oh, back-to-back Raleigh Fingers. We got it all here. I did see, so 586 and 585. Topps did do them numerically. 586, Raleigh Fingers in action. PSA 10 for this one would be $25. I'm sorry, PSA 9. And I can kind of tell top to bottom, it's too low. I graded some cards like this, and even if you thought it was good left to right, this one's too low. I'll put it there because people may be interested in that. Here's a regular Raleigh Fingers. I love this old Milwaukee Brewers logo. Let's keep rolling. Tony Perez for the Red Sox. Dave Winfield. Oh, man. I love this card. I just got an 8.5 back from SGC. This one does not seem to be as good centered top to bottom. Let me sleeve this one while I look it up. Number 600, of course. 600 PSA 9 for this is $30. I don't see this gain a 9. And this corner, I don't know if you can tell there, that's got a little ding on it. So unfortunately, Dave Winfield, you're going to stay. Oh, the other corner is dinged. I wonder if that's going to be a vending box thing. He's going to stay there. All right. We got the New York Mets batting and pitching leaders. Bo McLaughlin. Bill Buckner, funny story, because he played for the Red Sox. I have a robust Bill Buckner collection of cards. This is not bad looking. I think it's off left to right, and top to bottom. I'm going to keep this just for me. 760. Bill Buckner was a great hitter back then. He probably had just come off of winning the batting title, but not on my list here. So Bill Buckner, you're going to get just a penny sleeve. His corners look better than Dave Winfield, so unfortunately Dave Winfield just took the brunt of the vending box there. All right, Gary Lucas. Remember, if you see a regular card without the autograph, so Tom Seaver in action, pretty nice looking card. Centering left to right is pretty good. Top to bottom is too far to the bottom. Card number 31, not on my list. I'll put it in the good pile though. All right, Pete Rose, Steve Carlton, batting and pitching leaders for the Phillies. What a team that would have been. Man, I'm going to look that one up. 636. Because it's a checklist. Oh, there we go. PSA 9, $26. It would have to be worth more than that for me to try and grade this, because this is not going to be a 9. The left to right centering is not very good on that, but pretty cool looking card. I will actually give this one a penny sleeve. I randomly have a Steve Carlton mini collection, which is a whole other story. All right, we got Mike Stanton, Randy Martz, Pat Putnam, Mickey Rivers, cut too low, Dave Revering, Lloyd Mosby, and Mariners leaders. Okay. Now we're going back in. What I'm going to do here, sorry about that, but I'm going to put this in here to try and hold the cards a little bit as we pull out some piles as we go. Man, I think I dinged some corners there. All right, Eddie Whitson, Jerry Mumfree, Dave Steeb with print defects. Yeah. Tom Seaver, so 81 victory leaders. I also wish they gave you the number of victories they have. It's a pretty nice looking card. I'll put it here for a look at later. Bob Baylor. Actually, one of the better centered cards from this set. So we got the 1982 Topps here, vending box, for those just joining. I ripped some wax. It wasn't very good. This vending box did cost me $500. Sorry, $400 for 500 cards. So we're in for like $1 per card. We're going to need some big hits here to send out for grading to make that back. So I don't know that I expect that, but this will be fun either way. Scott Sanderson. These cards are getting much better centered than where we started. Here's Larry Anderson. George Brett. This is a great card. George Brett is on my list. PSA 9 would be 50. I don't know that I see this gain that, but I'm going to properly care for it just in case. Man, it's a really nice looking card. You can see the left to right centering is a problem. So the white edge on the right hand side is off. I think it's shifted down too much. I'm pretty sure when I take another look at this later, it's not going to go off to be graded. I've been using SGC a lot for these. It's only $15 per card. and they're pretty quick with the turnaround times. Generally get pretty close to PSA prices when you go to sell them. But while this is on our hit list, and this is a top 12 value card from this year, I don't think this one's going to go off to be graded, but I'll start a nice pile here for that over here. This is my chase cards here. You can see we got George Brett here at the bottom. I have this list available for you. It's below the video. You'll see a link for it if you're interested. All right, Eddie Murray and Mike Schmidt on the same card. Feels like that has to be a good card to look up later. John Curtis. And again, we're looking for the blacklist error. Any card could be missing this facsimile autograph, and it's worth a lot more. John Mayberry. Wayne Krenchicki. Don Baylor. I loved Don Baylor when he was on the Red Sox. I'm sure this is not a chase card of any stretch, but pretty well centered except for top to bottom. I'm going to put it in my list here. Eckersley, man. I love this card. Eck. 490, so you know Topps thought he was pretty good. And this is a PSA 9 would be $20. So I will at least leave it. I don't think this is going to get a 9. Oh, man. It's pack fresh. The corners are good. I don't see a lot of print defects. I think it's really centering here. Konnichiwa, my friend from Japan. Thank you for joining. We are opening a 1982 Topps vending box, which I've never opened before. There's 500 cards in here, and we'll see what we get out of this. So far, I'm actually having more fun, and there's more variety of cards than the wax packs we got, so I do worry about repacked cards. We got Ed Farmer. We got Pirates rookies, Vance Law, Johnny Ray. Okay, we'll look at that later. Jesse Jefferson and Tim Wallach. All right. I don't know if I want to do a bigger pile, and I definitely don't want to jam them up. Paul Molitor, really nice. Not a top 12 card, but for sure a name. This is where the centering is actually much better. I think it looks too far up, but I just had one graded, and it seems like you should have as much space below as above here. This is a great centered card. I'm actually going to put it down to look it up. 195. PSA 9 is $25. This one has a shot at it. I'll give it a quick look through. I think there's a print defect on his helmet, but nice. Yeah, welcome. Thanks for coming. I don't know. Keep it calm and regular here. I guess that's the best I can do. Milt Wilcox. Dave Rossello, thank you for joining and leaving comments. Willie Aikens. John Montefusco. Terry Poole. Again, if I miss a blacklist card, let me know. Dick Davis. Yeah, I know. This one's, I couldn't really pass it up. I got it for $400. It was shrink wrapped from Baseball Card Exchange, whatever that's worth. So far, I'm much happier than even the wax packs that were supposedly verified from an unopened box. I'm going to do a whole video about CT scanning coming up. There are ways that people can look into packs without opening them. If you haven't seen that, do a Google about it. There's Gary Roanoke, or I'll have a video probably out next week about that. Terry Kennedy, Jack O'Connor, with some serious print defects going on up here. But I'm happy with the centering of this part of the box, so we've gotten much better. Mal Alexander, Mike O'Barry. The one thing I am thinking about is, with 500 cards in here, you're going to get a pretty representative sample of the whole set. We got more than half of the set here. Danny Martinez, Mark Wagner, Steve Stone, Kevin Saucier, Tony Scott in the Astros jersey that I love, Lou Piniella, 538. I don't think it's a chase card here, but I'll put it in my good pile to look at later. Terry Bowling with the old Mariners logo that looks a little bit like Maserati. Jamie Quirk. Steve Howe. Ken Singleton. Tim Lawler. An egregious print defect. Man, I don't know what that is. Usually you see those little fish eyes, but this is like a bleed over. Alex Trevino. Bob Gritch. Clint Hurdle. Dale Barra. Dickie Knowles. Great hair, Dickie Knowles. I was just going to say we need more mustaches, and here we go. Tim Stoddard rocking the stash. All right. George Foster in action. Ken Brett is next. Let me just do a quick look up on George Foster. 701. That's a pretty legit number. But it's his regular card that would be worth something if we find it. I'm going to put this in the good pile here. All right. I don't even think we're too much more over 100 cards in, so let's see how this goes. Jim Bibby. The centering's gotten worse here. Now, this is one where I've always been surprised by some of these random, like, rookie cards like this. So I'll do a quick check on this. 502. I've got my 1980s Topps cheat sheet here. That is not on my list, so I'll put it in the good pile, but that one's not going to go anywhere. Bill Madlock and Carney Lansford. Bill Caudle. Joe Morgan in action. Now, I think I just said when I looked this up that Joe Morgan's in action was actually worth more than his regular one. So $7.55. Yeah, this would be a PSA 9 is $24. I think the centering is pretty good. Probably a little bit low. I know. Stay tuned for the Cal Ripken. He's got to be in here. But you can see there's a print defect here in the edging over here. So, man, these are pack fresh or vending box fresh. Most of the corners look good, so I'm actually happy with that. I was worried that, bumping around that box for a while, they would be bumped up, but they look pretty good. Steve Renko, I was just going to say, I feel like Steve Renko cards surprised me at their value. 702, not on my list. Len Sakata. Amos Otis. Joe Ferguson. I love this. Yeah, anytime we got Rod Carew on a card, you're doing pretty good. Not only is it off center, but this is one of those cards that it's actually printed a little crooked, it looks like. Maybe not too bad. I'll put it here just because Rod Carew is on it. All right, Ozzie Virgil. This is one where this card has surprised me that it may have some value. 231. Let me check my paperwork over here. 230. Nope, 231 is not on here. It's a rookie card. I'll put it here. Pat Kelly. We are looking for Cal Ripken Jr.'s rookie card. We're looking for Phil Necro, Jim Cat, Kirk Gibson, Reggie Jackson, Yaz, Nolan Ryan, Dave Winfield. I actually really love the Ozzie Smith from this year. I have a good one that we pulled that came back at an 8. So Frank Tavares, Rob Wilfong. Anyone with the Red Sox is awesome, but we got Carney Lansford and Mike Torres. Okay. Detroit Tigers, I think, yeah, you can see it's off center, left to right. But Marty Castillo, I think this one, 261, had surprised me before as well. 261, not on my list. A rookie card I'll still put here. All right, Caldell Washington. If you think I missed a blacklist, let me know. Tony Pena, great catcher. Oh, these hold some value for the name, If you know, you know. I think it's actually on the chase list. Let me look this up. 237. Nope, not this year. I think it's 85 was the one I just went through. I'm still going to put it here. Jim Ganter, Bob Galasso, Mark Hargrove, and Burt Blylevelin. Love that card. Rick Auerbach, Tom Underwood. Tom Underwood is looking pretty suspicious here. Like, if he was looking at me like that, I would walk away. Just saying. Sparky Lyle. Pete Rose, yes. I'm going to look this up in a second. So we've got Pete Rose highlight and a Milton May Vita Blue card and Rufino Lares. Oh, yeah, the Pete Rose is a no doubter. It's going in the penny sleeve. And it's off center left to right. It's pushed a little too far left. Corners look great. I actually don't see any obvious print defects, which is surprisingly common this year. Card number 4. This is $33 and a PSA 9. And I'll tell you what, I'm going to get the card saver out. I'm just crazy enough to send this away and see if it can get 9. Man, the corners look great. No print defects that I can see. Back looks good. It's really just the centering. Man, this card could have come back. Show the back of Pete Rose. Happy to. All right. Rose smashes NL record 3,631st hit. There you go. Stan Musial broke. I guess senior circuit just means older players, but maybe Stan Musial had the record before him. Senior circuit. Sorry, Pete. I wouldn't have called you senior circuit in 1981. Funny story. I saw Pete Rose in a restaurant before he passed. He was with such a big crowd. I did not want to say hi or bother him, but he looked like he was quite the celebrity in person. This is an awesome looking card. I agree. I don't know if it's going to come back in 9. I'm going to hope for it. That one's going in the pile with George Brett so far as potentials. I think we covered all of those. All right. We cut to Steve Carlton. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. This Steve Carlton, I love Steve Carlton. I think he does still hold the record for most career strikeouts as a lefty. So nowhere near Nolan Ryan, but he was quite a pitcher in his day. I'm going to put this in my look up later card. I think I've already looked that one up and it's not worth anything. When my kids open cards with me, I make a big deal out of checklists because they're such a bummer that we kind of treat it like a joke. I wish they were here with me today, but they are busy with their activities, and I wanted to do this before I could. Oh, wow. Okay, so we got Ron Oster, we got Tom Seaver All-Star, and then Steve Carlton in action. I'm going to put these in the good pile here. Yeah. Did I say Tom Seaver? Hopefully I said Tom Seaver. Steve McCaddy. I do like the green background on this card. Gary Allenson. Anyone in the Red Sox uniform is great. Al Williams. Bruce Sutter and Raleigh Fingers. Look at Raleigh's mustache. You know, what's so funny is if you told me I'm going to show you a picture of Raleigh Fingers, I knew he was going to have an amazing mustache, and this still exceeded my expectations. Can you see the curl on that? Sorry, I got too close. Raleigh was a funny character. Dave Righetti, great pitcher, even though I'm a Red Sox fan, so I wasn't a big fan of the Yankees. Robin Yount, great card. Robin Yount, we've got some staining or like print defect color there. Mark Clear with an interesting choice of mustache choices here. Billy Smith, Gene Garver. Rich Gedman. I got the chance to see Rich Gedman in person. I have his autograph. I was a huge Sox fan growing up as a kid. I'm going to put that in my pile just for me. Steve Garvey in action. I'm always optimistic about these cards, but the inactions are not as valuable. Rich Hebner, Jim Slayton. I'm hoping for you guys we get at least a Blacklist era card or a Cal Ripken Jr. rookie here. We got Carney Lansford, Mike Griffin. That's a funny looking card. Aurelio Lopez, Chuck Rainey, and Warren Cromartie and Bill Gullickson, the Expos. All right. Continuing our way through this box. Oh, man. I think last time I cut to Steve Carlton and I got Nolan Ryan here. PSA 9 is worth $54 for this one. You can see the centering left to right is not friendly for that. Top to bottom is a little bit low as well, but I'm going to tell you, the corners look good. There's a touch on this one. Oh man, I love this Astros jersey too. Huge Nolan Ryan fan. I was so glad I was able to see him pitch when I was a kid, and then watch on TV one at least of his no-hitters. I feel like I probably caught another one, but it was towards the end of his career when I caught his latest no-hitter. All right. From the chase cards that I have here, not only is this a top 12, but this is card number 8. So I did some research. I pull these chase cards so that I have a list of values and what to look for as I open wax. If you're interested in this, it's below the video. It's less than $1 per year. We got one. All right, let me put this. I'm so sorry. I don't think this is gonna go off to grading, but I'm gonna stick it in a card saver because I feel like Nolan Ryan deserves that. Just like our George Brett. I think my George Brett over here is also a great looking card. Man. We got Pete Rose, which is definitely, I think, going to go off to grading. I'll put him under a magnification later. George Brett, Nolan Ryan. We're cooking. Cooking. Man, I can't believe we cut right to that either. That was lucky. All right, we got Ken Singleton, AL All-Star. I like the All-Star cards that year. Lee Smith. Awesome. It's not worth anything, but I do like Lee Smith. All right, Larry Hendon. Rick waits, and he's still waiting, if I can guess. Dave K. Kingman. I think does he hold the career record for most strikeouts in a career? I want to say that he does. I see Pete Rose coming. Man, we're hitting some cards here, but let me look up 690 in case I need to put Kingman in a thing here, and I don't. I'm going to put it in the good pile. Pete Rose in action. Centering left to right is not bad, but top to bottom it's a little bit too low. Oh, Lee Smith's rookie. Well, thank you. Let me back up then. I should have looked him up. I just didn't think it was anything special. 452. 452. Lee Smith, $50 for a PSA 9. Thank you so much for the comment. I might have overlooked that. Lee Smith's rookie. Do I think it's a PSA 9? I'm not sure. If you actually really look, you can see it's one of those crooked ones where the white space here is a little bit smaller than the white space here. But I will officially sleeve this up at a minimum. I think someone may buy this ungraded. This is pack fresh, gorgeous looking card. There's no visible flaws, no print defects other than just the centering. Nice looking card. The back is pretty well centered. Awesome card. Thank you so much for the catch. That's why I love live streaming. I can't have access to all the data here when I'm doing this. And now we've got Pete Rose in action. So let me, 781. Who doesn't want a Pete Rose card? This is worth $24 in a PSA 9. I don't see it getting a 9, but I will put it in a penny sleeve. And it's packed fresh. Good looking card. Great hitter. And I feel like he's got a chance maybe to make the Hall of Fame with all the stuff going on right now. So let's see. Steve Mira. Checklist. I like to celebrate checklists with my kids. Roger Erickson. Don Money, in the money. My favorite logo. Here's the, I don't know what we were opening. Fleer. We were opening Fleer. That's the logo. I love the glove. That's an M and a B. Dan Ford. 134. I feel like Dan Ford's cards are worth more than I think, but not this one. That goes in the regular pile. Sorry, Dan. Barry Bunnell. Mike Schmidt, All-Star. Really good top to bottom centering. It's a little crooked in terms of being twisted. I'm going to guess left to right is actually pretty good on this too. No print So there's a, I don't know if you can really see it. There's a little black, yeah, you can see the black mark right there on that edge. That must have been a print defect. 339 Mike Schmidt. In great looking condition. If this was his original card, it's a 50. 339. This is a $25 PSA 9. Oh, the centering's good. The corners are good. It's got one print defect. I'm going to give this the proper sleeve. Here's my problem. If a card has a good chance of being a $25 card, I'll probably spend the $15 to grade it. And if it comes back, it can be a $10 card and I'm just out a few bucks. But I feel like part of my duty is to make sure that potential 9s don't go ungraded and just get lost. Mike Schmidt. We're cooking now. Danny Darwin. We got Jeff Reardon, who's a great pitcher and also pitched for the Red Sox. Mike Schmidt in action. I feel like we've hit back-to-back cards like this before. Mike Schmidt in action, number 101. This is worth $42 in a PSA 9. It's a little bit low. It's a little bit low on top to bottom. Left to right is okay. You can also really see at the top. Can you see how crooked this is printed? But man, take a shot at a $50 card. Yeah, Mike Schmidt, $42 in action. I'm crazy enough to do that. I don't think it's going to be a 9. The more Hall of Famers, the better, for sure. For sure. I was just talking the other day, I missed the era where like Mike Schmidt, Wade Boggs, Tony Gwynn, Kirby Puckett were respected for being great hitters at the plate and not having to have a lot of power. I think I saw an article that said the death of the 300 hitter because they're just not as valued anymore as power. But I loved watching them play. Mike Schmidt in action back-to-back with his NL All-Star card. Great cards. All right. I have to say already, I mean, if this was the end of the box, I'm happier with this than I was with the wax packs, and I paid a fair amount. Matt Keogh with some print defects there. Ron Hassey in some seriously 1980s catcher's gear. Juan Eichelberger. Sorry, Juan. I'm sure I didn't pronounce that properly. Jerry Turner. Bill Fahey. I love cards as well. You're in the right spot. Gene Tennis. And Willie Randolph All-Star. Number 548. Just checking my notes here. 548. Not on my list. I'll just put it in the cool looking card pile. That's our pile here. So we're opening 1982 Topps Vending. Never opened a vending box before. This was $400 for 500 cards. Man, I love Ricky Henderson, all of his cards. In fact, I just sent 6 Henderson rookies. No, 10 Henderson rookies off to be graded. I was disappointed with their grades. I have 2 videos about that if you want to look at that. Wayne Gross. Does it have the zebra stripe vending pattern? Oh, I think, is that what you mean? The look? That must be it. This is my first vending box, so you may know better than I will, but I will buy more of these. I think I saw a 1984 vending box going for $100. Oh, it's legit. We'll take it. I'm happier than I think I got some repacked wax. I've been complaining about that since the beginning. So I am so happy to see some real cards in here. Steve Dillard with some print defects. Mark Bellinger. Larry Parrish. These are great players. And Jeff Burrows. Cody Davis. Gene Nelson, looking very rigid in this photo. Tom Hume with interesting glasses choice. Cesar Cedeno. Joel Youngblood. Dave Roberts. Awesome. I'm going to just put this as a Red Sox fan over here. Mike Jorgensen. Mike Heath. I knew a Mike Heath that was not this person, so that's a fun one for me. Ron Jackson. Warren Cromartie. Ken Landreau. Buddy Bell. Jerry Don Gleason. Oh, I see something coming up here. John D'Agisto. Daryl Porter in action. I'm going to guess this didn't hold up. Let's look. Oh, Larry Boa. I loved Larry Boa. 448. I mean, it's interesting that he got a in-action card, but yeah, this is going to go in the regular pile. Larry Boa. Nice looking card. I'll look it up. 515. Not on my hit list. Bruce Sutter with a serious beard. Way to go, Bruce. Doyle Alexander. He looks like he's got something on the ball there. Doesn't he look like he's got some, like a spitball coming or something? I don't know that he was known for that. I'm just saying the look of it. Here's Mike Witt in a very faded out color. Like, I wouldn't have been surprised if this was one of the blacklist ones based on how faded out. Look at these cards back to back. This is so not intense in color. We got Bobby Brown. Don Sutton in action. And Mickey Hatcher. While there's a pause in the action, I'm going to look at my Don Sutton 306 out on my chase list. All right, we're not quite halfway. I'm already happy, although we've got a long way to make $400 back on this. You know, from the cards we got here, we've got maybe, hopefully, $40 or $50 if they come back graded really well of profit above grading. But Johnny Bench soon, yeah, we'll get that one. I think we hit a Johnny Bench. Let me see. Did we? Nope. Nope. Okay. Dan Dresden. Ken Clay. Andy Rincon. Moose Haas. Fernando Valenzuela. Oh my goodness. I was going to say the centering looked all right. It's a little off, but then this corner, you can see it right there. That is dinged up seriously. I had one of these come back at an 8 or an 8.5. Let's see what we lost out here. In a PSA 9, this is a $38 card. Unfortunately, it is in rough shape with basically a crease. So, Fernando, I don't know what to do with you. I'm going to put you in a penny sleeve just because I'm sad. But that's the first kind of damaged card I've seen in this vending box. All right. Chicago White Sox Future Stars. It is better centered left to right than most of these, but you can see it's shifted to the left. There's also a print mark in the top right corner here. Dewey Robinson, Tim Foley, Kirk Bavacqua. I feel like the Pirates had some interesting names back then. George Medich. Shooty Babbitt. Shooty Babbitt. I love that. So his name was Mark, it looks like. Oh, they put Shooty Babbitt on there. All right, Shooty. I'm putting you over here because that's interesting. Gary Hancock. Looking off in the distance. Rick Dempsey. All right. Got a print defect here. Pretty well centered otherwise. Dan Petrie. John Littlefield. Willie Randolph. Nice looking card. Off center, left to right. And we've got a ding here. Dewey Evans. Now, I hope this has some value, but as a Red Sox fan, I'm going to at least penny sleeve this. Dwight Evans, 355. I feel like, there's the Mendoza line. I'm surprised Dwight Evans, to my knowledge, I don't think he's made the Hall of Fame. I think he's my Mendoza line. But I can tell you, growing up as a Sox fan, he was a hometown hero for sure. Warren Brewstar, Paul Moscow, Ernie Witt, Lynn Jones, Bill Madlock, John Martin, and Dickie Thon. All right. We're about halfway through this 1982 Topps vending. Is Jim Rice in the Hall? That's another good question. I don't think he is, but I'm not the best at remembering that stuff. I need to go look. I would keep a Jim Rice card either way. Joe Patini, I feel like we saw him earlier. Garth Iorg. Bunting, I always tell my kids people used to bunt in baseball back then. Greg Gross. Matt Alexander. Rice is in. Was that in the last 5 years or so? I feel like that is, I think he is in, but that's great. Michael Barry. Denny Martinez. Mark Wagner. Terry Crowley. Carlton Fisk. He has an awesome in-action card from this year. I hope we have it so I can show it to you guys. Carlton Fisk is pretty well centered top to bottom, but left to right is off. He looks like too far to the right. I'm going to put it in my good pile, but not going to go to grading. Tony Scott. Lou Piniella with a good centered card. Man, that's pretty good. That is really good. All right, let me see if Lou, any print defects? I'm telling you, this is pack fresh Lou Piniella. I don't think it's really going to be anything, but let's take a look. 538. Not on the list. I'm going to penny sleeve him. This is a really good looking version of Lou Piniella. Wow. I mean, I almost would send that away just to see if you can get a 9.5, but it's not going to be worth the money. I've been burned too many times trying to do that. Terry Bulling, Danny Goodwin, Bob Forsch, Ken Singleton, Tim Lawler, again with the same print defect. I need to know if that is in the design. That looks like just a stain or something. I'm going to put that aside here to figure out. Alex Trevino. These cards are pretty good. They're pretty well centered considering what we saw in the beginning. So let's get some stars in here. Bob Gritch. Clint Hurdle looks like he's playing football. Steve Swisher. Dickie Knowles again. So we are getting now into the vending box doubles. Tim Stoddard. So that's interesting. Only 500 cards, and we're getting some duplicates, but I'm happy overall. Let me raise my box so they don't tip over. Dave Palmer. Oh, Al Oliver in action. I'll put it in the good pile, but I don't think that's worth anything. Claudel Washington, I think we saw before. Tony Pena, I know we saw before. John Verhoeven. Louis Leal. Pete McCannon. Bobby Mercer for the Yankees. With some sort of print line top to bottom ruining this card. Rick Auerbach, Ron Reed, Willie Wilson, Jeff Leonard, Bill Travers, Rufino Linares. I'm starting to get into cards. What should I be looking out for in boxes or packs? I used to only buy graded cards forever, and then to get my kids interested, I've been buying packs. I don't know that there's a lot of money in opening packs. I actually think flipping graded cards, like looking for auctions that are selling below market value, I've had a little more success doing that. But we did make some money off of opening the 1993 Pinnacle. We pulled two Jeters out of there. One of them got a 9.5, one got a 9. And so on a $100 box, we made almost $200 back. I think maybe 150 after grading fees or something. So I would say if you're just getting into cards, open what you love, but don't expect to make money off of opening. I do a little more for fun. Got another Paul Molitor. This one is really well centered for this time. For 82 cards. It doesn't have, it's pack fresh. I don't think 195. PSA 9 is 29. I will send this off to be graded only because I think that's a legit shot at a 9. I'll give it another look over for print defects. Man, that's a good looking card. I'm just now, what are some good auction sites for cards? I do eBay for a lot of stuff. I do what used to be called PWCC, which is now Fanatics Collect. Heritage auctions is another good one, and I've bought stuff off Golden before. I think if you're patient and looking, and you can compare across all of them, you can find some deals. But I do a lot with data, and I like to look at cards. So Paul Molitor, I just noticed a little bit of discoloration here. I think that's going to knock him out of the PSA 9 realm. I'll put it in the good pile over here later, but that's a great centered card. Milt Wilcox, Sid Monge, okay. Lee Mazzelli, Larry McWilliams, Terry Poole, and Dick Davis. So, great question. I feel like rookies with breakout potentials, especially these days, are overvalued. I just sent one off for grading, but you have to get into like the rookie auto serial numbered PSA 10 to have them have any value, and then they're overvalued, and then the players don't come through. So I think if you actually look at the value of a Mike Trout, that like 8 years into his career, when everyone knew he was a generational player, you could still get a good deal on his cards compared to the prices now. And the Wander Franco, I hope I'm picking the right player. The players who like have a scandal and were amazing, like their card values just crash. So in general, you will find that I am I want to say vintage, but I also go into the 80s collector. I don't buy too much beyond the 90s. But that's just me. That's just my choice. Mike Proley, J.R. Richard, Doug Bird, Junior Kennedy. Okay, we're getting some different cards here. Dwayne Murphy. Another checklist. Cecil Cooper. It's a good looking card. Enrique Romo. The Pirates hats back then were wild. Jim Essien. Damaso Garcia with print defects galore. I'm sorry, I didn't have that focused for you guys. Damaso Garcia, print defects. Steve Renko again. I know we've seen that one. Jim Dwyer. Gary Maddox. Rick Roden. Jim Wright. Reggie Smith. Gary Ward. Mark Bombach. Ron Davis striking out 8 straight in relief. That's legit. Off center, left to right. And Benny Ayala. All right, we're in the last third of this box. From our top hit list, we hit George Brett and Nolan Ryan. I think that's it. Did we hit the Expos Future Stars and I didn't realize it? I think so. I'm so sorry. Let's go back to... Well, I'll do it afterwards, but I think we hit an Expos Future Star. So I love the drum roll. Let's see what we got next. When we cut to Steve Carlton and then cut to Nolan Ryan, that was so far the peak of this box. Darrell Evans, Billy Sample. We got the Giants Future Stars. Chili Davis rookie. Okay. These cards are always off center, left to right when I hold it like this. I'll put it there and I'll look that one up. Greg Harris, we're really getting off center here. Rick Ruschel, Tug McGraw, Scott McGregor, All-Star, Fred Lynn. I love Fred Lynn. Lots of print defects going on here. You can see the fisheye. This one, I don't think it's an official fisheye, but it definitely looks like a print defect. Mark Brohard. Tom Seaver. Awesome. Oh, and Johnny Bench. Oh my goodness. This is some serious cards. Let's first give Tom Seaver his due. Left to right, centering not very good. Card number 30 is $28 for a PSA 9. I will penny sleeve him just to give him his respects. But looking at the centering, this is not going to be a PSA 9. All of the corners look good. I don't see a lot of print defects. It actually has a nice gloss to it in terms of uneven printing. Sometimes they're a little textured. That card is looking good. And now Johnny Bench in action. This is off center, left to right. Look at these cards coming. And way too low. Way too low. Johnny Bench, 401. What are we giving up, Johnny? $24 PSA 9. I'll penny sleeve this as well, but it will not go out to grading. I use SGC a lot for grading, especially for kind of fun stuff like this. And so it's only $15, but you still can't waste your money too much. All right, Jack Morris. Awesome card. $450. We got Gaylord Perry coming up next. Still looking for like a Phil Niekro, Kirk Gibson. Harold Baines again. I'm not sure if I opened Harold Baines in this pack, but I have 2 Harold Baines from the last one that we opened. They're surprisingly, I don't think, worth it very much. Let's see, $684. Yeah. No love for Harold Baines. John Henry Johnson with a real like bowl cut or mullet head. What do you call this? I mean, it really looks like a football helmet of hair. Way to go, John Henry Johnson. Bob Welch. Willie Randolph in action. This is the Expos Future Stars that we were just talking about. We got Terry Francona, rookie. It is not well centered left to right, but PSA 9 of this is $56. This is number 6 in our chase cards. Ba-ba-bum. So that is a real hit, even though if I didn't have this list, I would never know. I don't think it's going to be a 9 because of centering, but if it's 56 and 9, I would love the Expos to come back. I know. I may send this out to be graded if an 8 would break even, because then I feel like there's another great graded card in the world, and I don't lose any money doing it. Plus, it's fun. And, you know, if there's any upside to an 8.5 or a 9, I won't complain. But Terry Francona, Tito, rookie. That's a big hit, considering this year. Al Cowens, Rob Picciolo, Tippy Martinez, Dave Collins. Whoa, what do we got here? Boomer Wells, Jesse Barfield, and Brian Milner. You can see the printing of their names is a little bit messy. It's like too much black ink came out of the printer. It really looks good on camera, but in person it's almost a little bit blurry. 203, not on my list, but I'll put it in the pile of good cards. And Alfredo Griffin was the last one of that pile. I have to say, like I said, I'm happy with these. We opened a bunch of wax packs the other day, and I think they were resealed or searched. And some of them were even shrink wrapped and verified as from an open pack, so who knows. All right, Pittsburgh Pirates, Bill Madlock, Buddy Solomon, Dan Briggs. We're still looking for George Brett in action. Hard to complain about that. 201. I'm gonna guess it's not worth much, but let's do a quick check here. $22 in a PSA 9. I'll penny sleeve it, but it is way too low in centering. I don't see that getting a 9. Left to right is not too bad. These cards are a little hard to tell because it's it's not a centered design with that curve on the left. But he'll go up there with the Johnny Bench in action. Bump Willis, Kevin Hickey. We've got Dusty Baker and Bert Hooton. Cool. Larry Christensen, Craig Reynolds, Larry Boa in action. Nice looking card. Alan Trammell, I love it. I don't think this is worth anything. I don't have it on my hit list for this year. 475. 475. Nope. But it's a cool looking card. I almost feel like that's a great photo. He's happy playing baseball, living his dream. Dave Smith with a big glove. The Hawk, Andre Dawson, who at the very end of his career also joined the Red Sox. This is his all-star card. The centering left to right looks a little bit off. Top to bottom, it's a little bit too far down. 341. Not on my list, so Hawk, you're going to go in the regular pile. All right. Omar Moreno, Buck Martinez, and Mickey Rivers in action. All right. We're really in the bottom third here. There's a card in here that's really damaged, I can tell from the top here, but we'll save that one. Steve Henderson, Joe Morgan again, another good. I mean, this is a good looking photo. If you're like, hey, just take my picture. The centering on this is good. The top left corner is nicked. I think I looked this up before. It's not going to be one that is worth grading. Nice looking card. Bill Russell. In the comments, if you have any suggestions of what I should do with kind of all these pack fresh commons from 1982, let me know. I did just have someone reach out who's in a hospital, and I sent them some of these cards for them to go through. Bill Russell, Dick Tidrow, whoops, so sorry. Gary Templeton again, Bob Stanley again, Goose Gossage All-Star again. We've really come back around. I don't think I sleeved this one last time. No, not on my list, just an All-Star. Daryl Jackson, Brian Asselstein. I definitely think we're Juan Beniquez. We're back where we were. Paul Splitoroff, Dan Schatzeder, Gary Gray, Mike Hargrove. We've definitely had that one. Randy Jones, Claudel Washington, and Rick Mahler, Braves. Cleveland Indians, Tom Brennan. Okay. Alan Trammell, Joe Morgan, and Mickey Rivers is a couple of bucks. Okay. I'll go back and pull those out. Thank you. Thank you. Alice Valentine, Mike Phillips, Greg Luzinski, Joe Charbonnet, Dusty Baker, yeah. Rod Crew All-Star again. I think we had this one, right? 547. I don't know if maybe we didn't have this one. 547. Too many cards open. Not on my list. That just means it's a PSA 10. A PSA 9 is worth less than 20 bucks. So it's unlikely that it would be ever worth grading. But it's a great looking card. I haven't yet, but I've thought about sending cards off to check out my cards. Now I've lost track. I'm assuming that was the end of the pack. I don't think I just put it down now. I think that's it. Oh, maybe this is it. Tim Lawler. No, that's Tim Lawler. All right. All right. You guys know better than I do, but I think that was the last card in that stack. Bill Buckner again. As I mentioned, I have a Bill Buckner collection. This one's actually great. Good centering, a little bit low. I'll give this one a penny sleeve for Bill. Great hitter. I think he's 300 or right at it, like 298 career hitter. Didn't get enough of his due because of the 86 World Series error. Gary Lucas, Tom Seaver in action. This one's actually really well centered. Number 31. Let's just take a peek. Not on the list. Tom Seaver's card is worth something. Tom Seaver in action. It's just going to go here. Any card with Pete Rose is going to get a sleeve from me. That's a cool one. Oh, yeah. Pete Rose and Steve Carlton. This is the second time we've gotten this card. I don't think I sleeved the other one, but this one is a little bit better centered. What a team that was. All right. I'm messing these up. Mike Stanton, Randy Martz, Pat Putnam, Mickey Rivers, Dave Revering, Lloyd Mosby. Sleeve that Tom Seaver right here. All right, going in a sleeve. Thank you for the heads up. It's a little bit, it's not going to grade well. I know that, but I will sleeve it. Sleeve pile. Lloyd Mosby. I also shout out again to the viewer who reminded me of the Lee Smith rookie card. That was a great catch. Ronce in action again, and Tony Perez in action. We did hit a Lee Smith rookie, and let's see if I have it over here. I think it's just in this pile. Because I must have thought that it wasn't going to go. George Brett, Johnny Bench, Tom Seaver, Lou Piniella, Pete Rose in action. Don't call me crazy, but I think I've Misplaced Lee Smith card? Nope, I'm so sorry. It's in the pile to be considered for grading. Tom Seaver. I know, the hard part is there's so many cards in the 80s that if you can get a 10, it's worth a lot of money. It's just so hard. These cards are printed with print defects and off centering. But the Lee Smith one, I think when I looked at it, because it was a $50 PSA 9 or a $42 PSA 9, I think this will shake out. And even an 8 would break even, so I would do that. Now we hit a little bit of a hot streak here. Ron Say in action, number 411. It's a nice card, but it doesn't look like it's going to be gradable. Tony Perez, 256. Awesome card, but doesn't look like it's going to be worth grading. Jim Sundberg, Rodney Scott, Steve Kemp and Dan Petrie, Rafael Landstoy. No Reggie Jacksons yet. No Ozzie Smiths. We did hit George Brett, Nolan Ryan, and the Terry Francona rookie. We got a Dave Winfield, but I don't think we got his all-star one. Chuck Baker, Grant Jackson, Len Barker. All right, we're definitely, no Dale Murphy yet. We're definitely in the last quarter here. I'm going to cut right. No, look at that. George Foster in action. This is the card that is the most damaged in the whole box. And it's the Yankees Future Stars. You can see on the back. This is what I saw in the vending box. So unfortunately, the Yankees rookies. Actually, if I was going to have one card be damaged this much, I would pick a Yankees card as well. Myself, I'm a Red Sox fan. All right. Back at it. George Foster in action. We've got Ken Brett, Dyer Miller, Yankee fan here. Awesome. Well, hard to argue with their success. I'm just a Red Sox fan. Dave Stieb, Tom Seaver, 81 victories leaders. These cards are always left justified if you've seen them. Bob Baylor, Scott Sanderson, Larry Anderson. Another George Brett, and this one's even better. Wow. Oh, still in base leaders is worth something? I don't think I passed that one up. I think you're saying to look for that one. If it had Ricky on it, I would have paused. So George Brett, this is card number 12 from our chase list. PSA 9 is worth $50. The centering on this is better than the other one that we had. It's a little bit off left to right. Top to bottom, it's a little bit low, but otherwise, sleeve the Tom Seaver. I know, I would love to say I'm going to get a PSA 10. I'll send this out because I think it's got a shot at a PSA 9 or a PSA 8 would be break even, but I've chased PSA 10s and even I think SGC is harder on 10s than anyone else, and I've been using SGC a lot recently for fun stuff like this. George Brett. So we've been doing pretty good here. Way better than the wax packs, that's for sure. And this is our second George Brett. The Hawk PSA 10, 500. Yeah, there's so many cards that, any PSA, not any PSA 10, but PSA 10 in this year is so hard to come by. All right, Mike Schmidt. Love it. So yeah, I have not thrown any away cards. I have a pile over here of the best cards I think that would include that I haven't considered for grading yet. I'll go back through them in detail and look them all up. John Curtis, John Mayberry, I know, 10s in this time. Wayne Krenchecki again. Don Baylor again, but this one is really nice. This is really nice centered. Wow, this is a nice looking card. I'm trying to look for flaws on it, and I think if If I'm really, really, really picky, you won't be able to tell. I can't get close enough. There's a little tiny black dot in the middle of that white margin there. Yeah, it's so hard to get PSA 10s in the 70s and early 80s. Oh, I'm sleeving Don Bailey. This is a beautiful looking card. I'll look it up real quick here. 415. I think, yeah, it's not, the PSA 9 is not worth much, so I'll put it in the secondary sleeve pile. Eckersley again, what a great one. I don't know if you can tell, but the bottom is really jacked up on this, and that's the best picture I got of it. Almost like it got caught against the side of the box and bent and folded. So that is a rough Eckersley card. I loved watching him pitch. Most of the time I saw him pitch, he was not with the Red Sox, but great pitcher. Ed Farmer. We got the Pittsburgh Pirates stars. Baylor 9 is 1150. I know that's where it's always hard. You're in for $15 to grade them, and the 9's not easy to get in early 80s, but it's a nice looking card. I've been crazy enough to just send stuff out and see. Jesse Jefferson, Tim Wallach in the Expos. Chris Spire, we've seen this before. Bert Hooten, we've seen. We got the Seattle Mariners future stars, Dave Henderson, Rick Miller. I think I looked this one up before. 7-Eleven, so PSA 9, $25. It's not going to be PSA 9. It's way too far left. The corners look great. These are pretty packed fresh. I don't see a lot of print defects. I bet that could come back in 8 easy. All right. Rick Miller, Ken Griffey again. Raleigh Fingers in action again. Look, I think this might have been who we had back to back. Tim Wallach 927. Oh, awesome. I think I put that one. I'll find that one. We've had back to back like regular card and in actions before. Raleigh Fingers 586 and 585. So his in-action card is $25 for a PSA 9. I'll penny sleeve it. I don't see this one going off to grading if you look how low it is and then too far to the right. And I haven't even started to look for flaws, but the corners look good. I don't see print defects, obvious print defects. It's so funny. I've got so many pack fresh cards here that just aren't going to be worth that much. Raleigh Fingers. I just looked this one up. 585. Man, the centering on this is pretty good. I'm going to penny sleeve it. It looks a little bit low. And I even like it with the design that this is low, but I sent so many out. I think I sent 21 A2s out from the last packs that we opened. And I got so many 8s back. I got 3 8.5s and 1 9 that I'm getting a little bit better calibrated. Tony Perez. This is such a great printing. The other thing is sometimes the printing is faded. And we got Dave Winfield. Holy moly. All right, Tony Perez, 255. Have we done this before? 255. Not on the list. So it's less than $20, I think, for a PSA 9. I'm going to penny sleeve this one. It's a little bit low for centering, but man, I mean, if I'm doing this check, it is such a flawless, consistent color. Oh, that's a great looking card. I hope Dave Winfield is the same. So I got an 8.5 back on a Dave Winfield like this. This one's low. I can already tell. The corners look good, and I don't see any print defects. There's a dark spot in the here. So I'm going to say that's one kind of print defect. I'll look this one up for you guys. Number 600, that's how you know he was well regarded at the time. $30 for a PSA 9. This is one where I think I chose to send it out for grading because the PSA 8 was probably break even right at $15. SGC also had a sale on 1980s cards, and it was $12 each to grade, so I sent a bunch in. I'll probably end up sending this out, although I think it's going to come back an 8. And we had Hubie Brooks and Mike Scott, Mets leaders. And then last but not least from that pile was Bo McLaughlin. Off center with a misregistered line here. I don't know if you can see the black border on that just doesn't look right compared to the other cards. It's off. It doesn't. It should be better centered in that box there. All right, we're in the last home stretch here. I'll probably break this up into 3. Thank you all for joining. I hope that I can spend money and you can get fun from it. Are mini tops worth anything? I don't know. I don't buy mini tops. I'm not interested in them. I do like the overly giant ones. I think Topps did that for 1 or 2 years. But I don't do any minis. Manny Trillo. I'm at least happy with this section of the centering right now that I'm looking at. Ken Forsch, Fernando Valenzuela and Len Barker, George Vukovic, Ray Burris, Buddy Solomon. I'm hoping that those have made it here. Bucky Dent. So Bucky Dent, I'm pretty sure he's the one that hit the home run in 2003 ALCS. Game 7, extra innings off Tim Wakefield. People said Bucky effing Dent in Boston, where I was. Bob Lacey, Lynn McLovin. I know you hate Bucky Dent. And the Rem Dog. Oh my goodness. I'm so glad that Jerry Remy is here to back me up against the Yankees fans watching. No real hate, but a good rivalry. I'm sure this Rem Dog card is not worth anything, but it's worth something to me. I used to go to the games, watch Jerry Remy live, do the pregame, and eat a hot dog at his Rem Dog's hot dog stand with my dad and brothers. Great times. Biff Pacorba. Eddie Murray. All right. Unfortunately, I already see a miscolor stain here. Eddie Murray. I'm going to still sleeve it because he deserves it, but this is not going to be a card that's going to go out for grading. $3.90. This says $29 PSA 9. The centering is a little bit low, top to bottom. The corners look good, but that stain and centering is going to hold this card back. Oh, and the back is almost miscut. They give you usually like 90-10 on a PSA 8. I think you need 75-25 on the back, and this corner has a ding. Either I just did it or it was dinged. So, Eddie Murray, you're going to get penny sleeved, but you will not go out for grading. Tom Pekyorek, I'm sure I'm not getting that right. Richie Zisk. We got home run leaders, Mike Schmidt and the like. Steve Carlton, as you all already know, it looks like he was amputated here, but I love a highlight card. Sets new NL strikeout record with, when he hit 3,128. He also holds the record for the most strikeouts from a lefty. Steve Carlton, great player. Checklist. Danny Ainge. I forgot he was in here. Oh my gosh. I am so pumped up about this. Oh my goodness. Danny Ainge, I'm sure you know he's famous for being a Boston Celtic. He was drafted, I think, in baseball, 125. There was a whole story about this. This is not a card that's going to be valuable to anyone else, but I am giving this the proper penny sleeve and card saver. Oh my gosh, I forgot he had a baseball card. I apologize if you guys are wondering why I'm excited, but man, Danny Ainge's baseball card. I am so pumped up. I don't think that was worth the $400 for the vending box, but man, I am excited. Yeah, this is his only baseball card, and there was a whole weird story about how he was originally drafted for baseball, and then I think he fizzled out, and then was drafted for basketball. I've done an article on that somewhere. Wow, what if that's so much fun for me? Dave Lopez. All right, St. Louis Cardinals. Rookies. We got Bill Campbell. Now we're really hitting the checklist. Fred Lynn in action. I think that's the second time we've had this come by. 252. Yeah, not on my watch list. That's a nice card. All right, Jerry Roos. Bo Diaz again. Carlton Fisk, All-Star. I have to tell you, the Carlton Fisk in action from 1982 is awesome. I wish we would catch that one. For you Yankee fans, you might like Jerry Mumphrey, and of course, everyone knows Tommy John. And actually, this is pretty well centered for those types of cards. But Carlton Fisk, All-Star catcher, 554. Not on the watch list, but wait a minute. This is 554. All right, now, I don't think the All-Star cards have their signature on it. Is that right? I'm literally here looking at 554 Carlton Fisk Blacklist. So this doesn't have his autograph, but I don't think this is a Blacklist card. Let me look if I can find an All-Star. Well, I won't bore you guys with that, but I will sleeve this in case it really is one of those Blacklists. This doesn't have his facsimile autograph. I don't know if it's supposed to. This one does not have his facsimile autograph. I will have to do some looking on that. If anyone's looking, see if number 554, 1982 Topps, the black line around the picture, that's the Blacklist? I thought it was, oh, okay. This has so much black printing on it, it's got the black line here. Okay, so this is not the facsimile autograph Blacklist. Thank you for confirming. Why did I buy so much 82? Here's why. I started collecting heavy as a kid in 1986. Yeah, no black lines there. All right. He's going to be in the regular penny sleeve. I started collecting as a kid in 1986. My older brother had 81, 82, 83 cards, and he gave me a few, and so I did treasure them. And my very first card that he gave me was the 1983 All-Star Steve Carlton card. I have it in a PSA 9, and I have my original very first baseball card. And so it's like, these are the years I just missed out on as a kid, so I do enjoy opening these up. And they're actually still affordable. If you were here, I opened some 1979 Topps wax packs. I think it was $33 a pack. We got nothing good out of them, but maybe it was fun to open them. Charlie Liebrant. We got Chris Chambris. Lee May. We're looking for a big finish here. Dave Engel. Rupert Jones. Mike Parrott. Steve Comer. I'm still blown away by the Danny Ainge. There's a big fisheye right there on a print defect. Cesar Geronimo. Scott McGregor, Joe Simpson, Dave McKay, Butch Wenigar. Look how young Butch looks here. If you told me that was an 18 or 19-year-old boy on the team, I would believe it. Greg Pryor, Neil Allen, Dan Graham. What I'm excited is that these are cards we haven't seen through this box, Alan Bannister. And this is pretty well centered. Rennie Stennett, Frank White, Bob Ochinko, Bill Stein, Milt May. If my dog barks, I apologize. He sees a card outside he doesn't like. Steve Crawford, awesome Red Sox player. Loved watching him. I don't know what to do about the dog on the live. We'll just hope that the dog passing by passes by here. You don't need to bark. You don't need to bark. Pete Redfern. Oh, here we go. Craig Nettles in action. And Gary Alexander. I'll look this up. I don't think this is going to be worth anything. 506. Did you see a cat out there? I don't know. He doesn't like, there's certain dogs that go by that he doesn't like. All right. We're at the end of my $400 1982 Topps vending box. I feel like I got way better value out of this than my wax packs, but I don't think we have enough cards out of here to grade and get our money back yet. Kansas City Royals Future Stars. I want to just look at this one because there's sometimes these are like 471 not on the list. It'll go in the good pile. Art Howe, Floyd Bannister, Reggie Cleveland. These must have been like the correction glasses back, like the sports goggles at the time. Doug DeSantis. This is a really nice looking like color. The color depth on this card is really nice compared to this one, Jerry Augustine. I don't know if you can tell there, but like this has like the texture where you can tell it's not a very nice card, and this is a rich printing of Doug DeSantis. Jerry Augustine, Lamar Hoyt, Randy Boss, base. Barry Foote for the Yankees fans. Oh, Pete Rose, but he is damaged. We've got a damaged Pete Rose. No. Pete, 780. I'm devastated. This is a $27 PSA 9 that we will never recoup as he has taken top damage in the box. Still fun. That's a great card. All right, Keith Drumright, Mickey Klutz. Who grades your cards? I've used PSA a lot in the past for stuff like this where, you know, it's not going to be a $500 or $1,000 card. If I'm looking to see, is this going to be a $50 or $100 card, I send it to SGC. So I had great luck with the 1993 Pinnacle. I even got a SGC 10 back on a 93. Now I can't remember what it was. 93 Studio Derek Jeter. Real quickly. So I basically SGC is cheaper, faster turnaround time. You generally don't get as much money back as PSA, but PSA, not only are they more expensive, but you know, if you have $1,000 or $2,000 card, they take a percentage of that. Like the fee to grade the card goes up with how valuable the card is. I just want to show the difference of this like poorly colored, grainy photo to this rich one. So, you know, when you're looking at a PSA 10 from 1982, you need this rich color. I'm just gonna, just for examples, I'm gonna keep both of these cards out and I'll show them to my kids and so forth. But that's such a stark example in print quality between cards within the same box. Mike Ivy, Goose Gossage, pretty well centered, a little bit off to the right. Top to bottom is not too bad. I don't think this is going to be worth anything. 770. Nope. I will penny sleeve Goose Gossage because he deserves it. We've been going for 94 minutes here, so apologies. My voice is getting a little sore. All right. Ned Yost, Charlie Huff, for showing how he throws a knuckleball. I'm going to save this for my kids. I always talk about the knuckleball. And Dick Ruthven. I think Tim Wakefield was underrated for how many innings he could come out all the time. I love the magic of a knuckleball. The Detroit Tigers just signed like one of the fastest knuckleball pitchers of all time. So he holds the record. He's coming in one of their classes here. One of those videos I saw on YouTube. All right, we're in our last pile. This is it. We finished the box. Let's get the best we can out of this. Jerry Kuzman. It's faded, but man. Lou Whitaker, awesome looking card. Tim Flannery. Mike Lum. Dave LaRoche. All the way down at the bottom, like the Yankees are in the standings. No, but just kidding. But he's got a nick there. Ray Knight. Jackson Todd. Mark Hill, and kind of, was this throwback at the time? That must have been a throwback of the 80s. George Henrik. Luis Aguayo. Kiko Garcia. Jerry Narron. Yankees are in first, I know. They're always in first. John Mayberry, Dave Stieb, I guess I want to say. Mario Mendoza. Oh, Twins Kent Herbeck rookie card. It's off center, but better than these usually are. I'm going to see 766, $27 in a PSA 9. I'm going to penny sleeve this. I don't see it coming back at a 9. It's really top left corner shifted, so top to bottom and left to right it's off. But I'll put this in here. All right. Bert Campaneris. The AL East is up for grabs. I hope so. The Red Sox had a little run there and then completely fell off the rails in this last week. Mike Scioscia, really nice looking centering on this one. Joe Pittman. Man, we are a long way away from some, Cal Ripken Jr., Ozzie Smith cards here. Don Cooper, UL Washington, Danny Boone, Bob Ojeda, great pitcher for the Red Sox. Red Sox stars, what do we got here? Bruce Hurst, rookie card. Dave Schmidt and Julio Valdez. Bruce Hurst, great lefty. Red Sox didn't keep him. He went to the Giants. 381. No one else cares about this card but me. All right, we're in the final stretch here. Jerry Martin. Gary Lavelle. Jim Catt, number 3 on our list. This is our best hit yet. $82 in a PSA 9. And then Mike Tyson, not the boxer, will be our last card. So let's give Jim Catt his due. It is better centered top to bottom than most. It's a little bit low. Left to right is not the best. I don't see this coming back at a PSA 9. But considering that it's $82 for a PSA 9, I'm pretty sure this will be worth to SGC to get an 8 or an 8.5 and get some money back. Let's see. Plus, it's a great hit. So we didn't get Cal Ripken Jr. rookie. We didn't get Phil Niekro. We did not get Kirk Gibson this time. We didn't get Reggie. We didn't get Yaz. We did get Nolan Ryan. I'll do a quick roundup of cards, but I think I have my Reggie here. So this is the Reggie from a different pack that we got. Came back in 8. This one, oh, it's got a little fuzz on it. This one looks pretty sweet to me. The centering and everything, but it had a few print defects, especially right here. You're not going to be able to see it, but right in his armpit. So it was a nice 8. But I'll do a quick recap here. I know you guys have been staying on for a long time. Really appreciate you joining. If you are interested in opening cards or looking to cash in on your collection, check out my chase card list guides below. That's what I've been using this whole time to help me decide which cards are going to be worth something. And let's do a rundown real quick of the cards that we put over here. Jim Cat, Danny Ainge, baseball rookie card, only card that he had. Love it. Dave Winfield, and this one's pretty nicely centered, a little bit low, but I think that would go off to grading. George Brett, we got 2 George Bretts. The one on the left, I think, is a little better centered. Hard to say. Hard to say. They both look pretty good. Paul Molitor, Lee Smith rookie. Shout out again. This is a $49 rookie card in PSA 9. I don't know that it'll make it. Mike Schmidt, an All-Star. Terry Francona rookie. Mike Schmidt in action. Pete Rose, most hits, and a Nolan Ryan. I love the look of this card. I think I said this before in a different video, but if you said, what's a photo of Nolan Ryan pitching, I think I have this in my head. I know he pitched for the Rangers at the end, but I don't know. Astros, Nolan Ryan, vintage. I love this era. So those are those. I'll do a quick rundown of the cards that will probably not make it out to be graded, but we're the best of these here. We got Kent Herbeck's rookie, Charlie Huff, Goose Gossage, a great Pete Rose. The top of it was damaged in the vending box. Carlton Fisk, got Eddie Murray, Rem Dog. This is probably just for me. I don't think that's worth anything. Tony Perez, Raleigh Fingers, in the Raleigh Fingers in action back-to-back. Dom Baylor, we just talked about that one. This is such a good-looking card. I think I'll put this in a card saver so that I know I'll look at it again later. Thank you for the heads up on that. I don't use too many top loaders anymore because I do like to send cards out for grading, so these card saver ones are kind of what most of my cards end up in. Tom Seaver in action. Pete Rose and Steve Carlton on the same card. Love it. Bill Buckner, because I'm a big Red Sox fan. He was an awesome hitter, even though he had that World Series error. We got Rod Carew. George Brett in action. Johnny Bench in action. We got Tom Seaver. Lou Piniella. Dwight Evans, who I think we decided is not in the Hall of Fame. He's for sure in the Red Sox Hall of Fame. I actually don't know, but he was such a hometown hero. I think there's a bunch of print defects right here on his hat. Fernando Valenzuela, great card. Not too bad centering, but this corner took a hit somewhere in the process. We got Pete Rose in action. Charlie Hustle himself. Paul Molitor, Eckersley. Another Pete Rose, Steve Carlton, another Bill Buckner, and last but not least, Dave Winfield, a little bit crooked, a little off center, and we got a ding on the corner here. Otherwise, I would have sent this one out as well. That's it. Thank you so much for joining. This is the 1982 Topps vending box that I bought from Baseball Card Exchange. If you're going to the National, I'll probably be there. I am going to be there, and I'm going to stop at Baseball Card Exchange on the way up as well. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.